Hello everybody, Good Buddy Q here with another Top 10 Hetagames, hooray! Top 10 least favorite, hooray! Because I know this is kind of a hot button subject for a lot of people, but I was also heavily requested to make this, and my opinion of my least favorite. Again, just so you know, 1, these are my opinions. 2, they're not bad. They're just something I don't want to play again for my own reasons, let it be the game itself, the fandom around it, or the creator's backlash to it. But I will get to that in a moment. But, without further ado, on with the show for the top 10 worst/least favorite of mine Hetagames. Yay. Number 10, Heta Oni. So you may have noticed this back again. Well, it's less of the game being bad and more of the fandom being absolutely horrid. When Tomoyoshi had to cancel the project due to severe damages and losing data from the tsunami way back in the day, she was sent death threats and was harassed off the internet entirely. Ironically, some years later, she did find all of her missing data from Heta Oni. But, from how the fandom had treated her, she didn't want to work on it anymore, and honestly, I don't blame her. It's a fandom that refuses to die, and in some ways, it could be noble to hold on to a plot for so long, but not when you're constantly bothering everyone around you for it. Please, just let someone else have a turn in the spotlight. Let it die. Number 9, Heta something. So for this, I'm gonna break my usual rules of not including my own games, because this one, I hate this one. And I've heard a lot of bad lists for this one as well, for kinda good reason. It's a large regret that I made, but it was also made during a very emotional tough time for me. A game jam game, where I couldn't decide on the plot, and with some personal drama on the side, I used it as a venting pity party because I was still out of ideas and I wanted to be extremely spiteful to those who were causing the drama in my life. It turned into an absolute mess of a game that many people couldn't follow or enjoy very much because they didn't understand it. Which, I agree, not in the boo-hoo, I can't do anything right sense, but more in the, I should have kept my personal drama out of this. If I truly couldn't have made anything, I should have just quit. There is no shame in giving up in something that you're absolutely struggling with, and not having any good time with. Forcing yourself to suffer just to put in a deadline, especially when you're not doing good in real life or just doing it in the game, is never a good thing. I keep it up in public as a reminder of we all make mistakes, and if the message of the game helps at least one person, well, it would have been worth it. Number 8, Capotuto. So this was an experience. Seems more if it's a multi-OC with 2-piece shipping experience, which, alright. The graphics are, the music, well, it's a good try. Gosh golly, I don't really have much to say. That doesn't really speak for itself. But for a first attempt, good effort. Again, it's not bad. It's just not really one of my favorites to go back to, 7, Imaginary Nightmare. Okay, so this game right here, it's not bad. Hell, I would have played more of it since there's more than one ending. Downside, it had stolen dracotalia specific music that we have said many times not to steal, because those were originally composed for us. So, Piano and I came to them about it, and asked them just to change the music out because that was really uncomfortable. Instead, they deleted the entire game. I still get comments here and there to this day about how awful I was to badger someone to delete their game. I did not. It was their choice to do so. Again, it was a good game aside from the resource stealing, which, again, if it wasn't for that songs, I would have thought it was perfectly fine. But, so it's pretty low because of this conundrum, so it leaves kind of a sour taste. 6, Hetalia Corpse Party Games. So this isn't exactly to, one particular game. There's a couple Hetalia Corpse Party games out there, and some have kind of in the trapped in place gonna get murdered, so this was the best way I could describe it. And honestly, they're just not my thing. I'm not a big fan of Corpse Party. I know looking at my track record, you think I'd love it, but not really. I'm not much of a gore porn person. Which, again, ironic because of my track record, but Especially with Hetalia, it kind of lacks the connections to make you really care that they just randomly die. They kind of assume that because you know who they are, you'd get immediately attached in feels once suddenly splat. You know? The closest version that made me care was the ones that just used line for line from the original. So I was told anyway. So again, it's just not my thing. I don't like it very much. But you guys who do like it are more than free to enjoy it. 5. Russification Roulette. This one is an interesting choice because, well, I only played the first chapter demo. It's been updated since then and overhauled from what I know, but honestly, I don't want to play it anymore. Even if it is changed up, I still don't like the plot, the characterizations, the plot. I just really don't like all the, oh, become one with me, duh, Russia stuff at all. Especially with this seeming like for the lulz for him and this madness and yeesh. Again, it could be changed. It could be a lot better now. You're more than free to check it out if you choose, but me, no. No thank you. 4. Heta Oni II. So I'm not unfamiliar with Heta Oni sequels, but this one seemed to misunderstand the concepts that made the original so strong. For example, a random murder in which Japan turns into a Sherlock detective to figure it out Danganronpa style. And also, Canada's kinda killed himself because he had no hope. Especially post all the Italy information? What? No. I get you wanted the deaths to be a thing because angst, but when the entire hinge up until that point was to keep people alive and everyone's still trying to have hope for it, I don't know. If you want gore, try another time loop. You want some comedy? There's a time and place for a Sherlock cosplay. It had some neat concepts, but the rest kinda just killed it for me. Heh death joke. 3. Dracotalia. So this was a journey. It's an OC insert with nations with a time loop plot. The game was a little broken with its transfers here and there. The characterizations were a bit off, but apparently it was done on purpose for a time loop plot. Which was alright for a first try, really. This may not sound so bad. What makes it this down on the list is the character backlash. When we played it, they were very unhappy with how people took it, including Lubo and I. To the point where their friends were white knighting and threatening to hack into my account to destroy it. I've had past accounts and my computer destroyed by hackers before, so that's not a lighthearted threat to me. It may sound like I'm overreacting, but we have plenty of people who were there for the drama to see it. The hype has, thank God, died down, but for a couple weeks that was one heck of a time all around. But now this game's just kind of infamous for me, at least for how poorly it was reacted from its creator. 2. Brotherly Complex. Ooh my god. Oh my god. What a fucking ride. So this has a chance of being an 18+ games in both ideals and subject matter. But like Fritz the Cat was the first ever X-rated animated film, and made people realize adult animation was a thing, it was a terrible movie. This here is Germancest, and Prussia's very twisted mind about the matter, to the point of murdering those who he finds annoying, really bad drug trips with not too savory visuals, 2 pictures of his brother, literally chaining Germany up in a bad end, to the update didn't work on my computer, so I think it's just kinda left there, but it... I can appreciate it was trying to show that you can handle more adult topics when it comes to Hetalia games, and some so bad it's funny moments like Yandere mode that made him look like a robot, but that is it. This game is bad news. 1. Heta Child's Play and
Готическая Лолита будущее России.
For sake of ease, I'm just going to refer to these as the Russia games, as these both have something to do with Russia related and their games, in a way. For those who might remember my last list, might remember this was number 2. But over the test of time, this has still left a mark, while the previous number 1 faded into obscurity. These 2 games, well, they have some uncomfortable tones, such as trial briding and some accidental kids getting into their parents' stuff. I won't say more than that, but that's how it came off as. And all that, without any content warnings for the kinds of stuff that was going to show up in the games. So, that was a complete surprise and threw us off when that happened. The creator, however, was furious and called everyone who suggested it a pedophile, and many other things. Though as people offered for help for their future games and endeavors to show them what was up, or fixing the current ones, the creator kind of refused to listen and never really misconstrued to be seen as bad and didn't think the content warnings were needed. So, there's this uneasy air about these games, and I know Lubo still refuses to touch them with a 10-foot pole. And with that creator backlash and the game subjects in mind, yeah, I reckon these are the least favorite games of all. And yeah, that's my list. Again, it's not because these games are so bad, and more of I didn't like them for one reason or another. Again, if you like them, you are perfectly valid. It's just my opinions versus, everybody else's. So, I would love to hear what you like. If you have a least favorite game, please do tell me. I'm curious about what makes a good or, not so good game. But I'm still appreciative for those who've tried. Because, again, a lot of these were first trying, attempts. And it's you went out there and did something you had no idea doing. Good job. Legitimately. This was really actually hard to make. I had to spend weeks figuring out what to put on this list because I was well, I could just not have a list, but there was just so much people do it! So, yeah. And again, it was less of the game itself, and sometimes it was more of the fandom or the creator, so sometimes that can soil an experience for someone. But again, not all people share the same exact experience, so some game might have been a treasure trove of wonder for one, and a meh for the other one. And that could have been the exact same for my favorites list. Mine would be oh my god, I love that one! And then another person could be oh, I can't stand that game. Which, again, that's absolutely valid and fine. So, thank you for tuning in on 2021, and still being part of this channel if you've been with me during all this time, or if you've just recently joined. If you have, welcome to the channel. And you can find all of these things in my channel of just searching these titles and see what my opinions of them when I played them blind. Or in Heta something's case when I made it. But, yeah, that's about it for me. Happy New Year. I love you. And have a good day, everybody. Bye.